Hi, I'm Commissioner Mike McKeon, and I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of the Public Works Pipeline. We have a very special show today as my daughter Alyssa has returned to be a guest host, and she will be interviewing Public Works Director Paul McElhaney and me. And with that, I'll turn things over to Alyssa.
Thank you, Mike and Paul, for joining me today. Let's jump into things with some questions from the Public Works mailbag.
Okay.
A lot of questions here.
Here we go.
Okay. Our first question is from Andy Dufresne in Zuwatanejo.
That's a little place out in the Pacific, I think.
I think it's a little fishing island, maybe.
Yeah. You know what's nice about the Pacific? It has no memory.
That's sad.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Andy says, I want to get busy cleaning this spring. What is Lower Merion doing for spring cleaning?
Well, I'll take that one. So, as you know, every year our Public Works Department hosts our spring cleanup, our free dump weekends at the Kegel Complex at 1300 Woodbine Avenue over here in Narberth, or Penn Valley. This year we're scheduled for Saturday, April 15th and Sunday the 16th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're also scheduled for Saturday the 29th and Sunday the 30th for a free dump weekend. You can bring in your spring cleanup. We do not accept any hazardous waste at this time, and we do not accept any electronics at this time. You can bring in your leaves and your tree trimmings and those type of things also during the events. Just so people are aware, we do not allow grass clippings. That's one thing that we do not compost at this time. So your grass clippings have the ability to go in. They go in either with your regular trash or leave them on your lawn to fertilize your lawn to help that flourish and grow. We also would recommend that when you do have leaves and branch trimmings, that they fit within the biodegradable bags that are available throughout the township, at Lowe's, Home Depot, and at our Kegel complex.
And one other spring cleaning tip we have is just English ivy. This is a great time to get rid of the English ivy on your property. That's the vines that grow on the trees, and what you do is you just cut it back, and you can take scissors, pruners, anything like that, cut it at the base, and then get rid of it. If you wait until the summer, there's going to be too much foliage out there, and it's much harder to cut it. So if you have a free weekend, it's a good time. Look at your trees in and around your property. If they have the English ivy, try to cut it back at the base.
All right, start your spring cleaning. Our second letter is from Bert McNeely. He says, what's this I hear about you idiots proposing a firearm ordinance?
All right, well, I'll take handle that question. So the township is indeed has proposed a firearm ordinance. What happened was there's a gun store on the City Line Avenue area that moved to a more prominent location on Bala Avenue, and at that point, it was near schools, a lot of pedestrian traffic. People saw it. They were very upset about it. So the township has proposed a firearm ordinance to regulate firearms through zoning. And the purpose of that would be just to limit the locations of future firearm stores, and also put in safety measures like requiring motion sensors, blast-proof doors, a fire alarm, things like that to make it more safe. But the existing locations would be grandfathered in. This would impact future locations.
All right, our third letter is from Dr. Lecter. I would like the township to build a sidewalk on my street in Gladwin. How would a first-class township like Lower Merion handle something like this?
Again, I'll take that. That's part of our daily tasks. So if a resident wishes to have a sidewalk in front of their home, by township ordinance, the sidewalk is the responsibility of the property owner. Curb, sidewalk fall under that of the property owner. Currently, there is an ad hoc sidewalk committee that is made up by members of the Board of Commissioners that are looking at the future sidewalks. And I could, if I could ask Commissioner McKeon to elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, so as Paul mentioned, sidewalks, they're the responsibility of the property owners. And I think a lot of people in the township presume that the township will pay for sidewalks, but if you want a sidewalk to be installed under township code, it's the property owners that have to pay that. And that could be a $30,000 cost, something like that per property. And then you're responsible for maintaining the sidewalk, as we know with our own homes. During the winter weather, that can be really difficult. So the township has looked into an ad hoc sidewalk committee to prioritize certain streets in the township and then see what the policy would be for adding additional sidewalks. That could include the township funding some of the sidewalk costs, part of the sidewalk costs, or none of it. Those would be policy directions at the board, but that's just something that's being worked at now. But I also have to jump in a moment too. Dr. Lecter, who's a great contributor here to our show, frequently submits letters. He mentioned the first-class township. That's really just like a subjective thing. Lower Merion is a township of the first class. And as some people may know, in Pennsylvania, there's townships of the first class, townships of the second class. Township of the first class, you have to have a population of, I think, 300 people per square mile. And the way that it's run is with commissioners that are based in different wards. The township of the second class would have board of supervisors, and those are typically at large. So Paul and I have both served on the board of commissioners as ward commissioners, and what I think is really neat about that is you get to actually represent a particular ward and group of people and look out for a neighborhood. The danger of a township of the second class is it can be kind of ruled by the masses, and you could have all the supervisors all from the same community. So this is a better way for every neighborhood to really get its own voice.
Okay. Our fourth letter is from Fredo. What are some improvements in Belmont Hills and around Ward 3?
Well, I know that we've got the McMorrin Park benches and the ball field enhancements that are going on right now. We've got that new senior living center down on Rock Hill Road that, at the rate I'm going, my children may be putting me in there. And also you have the Belmont Hills patio library extension. We're looking at that currently as part of the CIP. And what does that mean, and how will that change the geography around the library and so forth? We're working with the design team to kind of finalize that, and then we'll be reaching back out to Mike to go through that before we go take the next steps going further. Then you have your normal paving, which unfortunately this year will be postponed because of the utilities. They've really their contractors haven't been able to fulfill or meet the commitments of the utilities, so it's making it a little hard for us to be able to complete our paving or schedule our paving for this year.
And now with the library extension, I think that's an exciting project that's in our CIP. I think we have $30,000 or so funded for design drawings. So is it possible we'll see some designs this year? Or?
Oh, yes. What we'll hope to do is, because of the topography in that area, we may have to do a retaining wall and all that. So the design team's working on that so that we can see what the obstacles are, what that means for construction. When we have a set of working drawings, we'll be reaching out to you. We'll have further discussions, and then what are the next steps, and are we going to a full set of drawings and bid package?
Well,
I think we have something about the ad hoc nominations. I don't know what the question reads or not, but is there a question number 5 there maybe?
There is.
Oh.
It's from my very own leopard gecko, Cheddar. She wants to know, what does the ad hoc nominations committee do?
All right. Well, so I'm the chair of the Ad Hoc Nominations Committee, and I'm on it with Commissioners Stevenson and Whalen. And so what we do is we fill vacancies on the township advisory boards, and that can be the Planning Commission, Shade Tree Commission, Environmental Advisory Council. When the vacancies occur, residents throughout the township apply, and then we interview them. It's only a 10-minute interview right now that's done via Zoom, but there's an application that's submitted too, so we get a chance to look at everything. And we'll also have township staff and other individuals with the township participate in the interviews too, so it's not just the 3 of us doing it. And then we put our heads together, we try to see what the groups need to, and find people who we think are good fits for the board. These are advisory boards, so the role should be to advise the township staff, not to harass the township staff. And we try to find people who have different voices, so it's not an echo chamber, and we want people to be good team players. And we typically have an abundance of people who apply for these positions. So we end up turning away a lot of highly qualified people, but that's just because there's so many qualified people in Lower Merion.
Be sure to join us for part 2 right after these messages. Welcome back to Public Works Pipeline. I'm your host, Alyssa. Let's jump back into where we left off with our mailbag. Our next letter comes from Marcus Hook at the Belmont Hills Boxing Academy. What is Special Refuse Collection, and what is so special about it?
Well, our special refuse collection allows residents to take items that are part of our normal collection that they pay for with their subscription. They're allowed to place out up to 3 bulk items for $40. Now we're talking we're not talking appliances, those type of things. You know, you have a small love seat, you have a desk, something of those natures. We'll pick up 3 of those items for $40. It's actually a very good value, a very good deal, especially compared to if you called one of the services that you see advertised. If the residents can also do more than that, more than those 3 items, if they have more than that, what they need to do is reach out to our refuse department. They'll give them a price for those additional items, and you know, and the resident can agree to it, pay the fee. There's several ways to do it. You can do it online. You can send in a check to the main office here, or you can stop by our Kegel complex and fill out a form down there for collection. Occurs Thursday mornings. Occurs on Thursdays. The items have to be placed curbside. We're not coming rear yard for those items or anything of that nature, and we'll come and pick them up. If you happen to have a mattress or a box spring, though, they have to be wrapped. They have to be in a mattress bag. We instituted this several years ago because some surrounding communities, their staff were getting bed bugs. They were taking them home because these items were coming in contaminated. So to protect our staff, we now require that those be wrapped. So appliances are different. We will accept them. There's a different fee depending on what the unit is. We'll provide pricing for those items also.
I think it's a terrific deal too, because and Alyssa would remember this. We had a love seat that was destroyed by our Labradoodle because he just kept crashing into it, and we're like, how are we going to get rid of this thing? It's big, it's hard to even get out of the door, and then to just coordinate with the township like that to get them to pick up 3 items, you just leave them on the curb, and then it was gone within a week. So it's a really nice service to have.
Yeah, I think it made everyone happy except the doodle.
Yeah, he doesn't know where to sit in the living room.
But I wouldn't recommend. Don't put it out before Thursday, Wednesday night.
Right.
After 7 p.m. on Wednesday, before 7 a.m. on Thursday, and staff will pick it up. And our staff, what they do is they call the day before just to confirm, just to make sure that you haven't changed your mind, that you still want the service, and just a reminder, hey, we need to have your stuff out tomorrow morning by 7 a.m.
All right. We have another letter. It is from my sister, Ava Holmberg. She is a resident of Ballackinwood. She says, dude, I got 3 quarts of Pennzoil that I need to get rid of. What should I do?
So that's the disposal of motor oil. I don't know if...
Well, that's something we don't take. We don't take motor oil. That falls under our hazardous waste. So the county does one event per year, and they usually do it in the fall. And what they do is they then ask the residents that want to participate to schedule. And we put it on our website, and you can schedule to have your motor oil picked up. You go to the Kegel, they'll dispose of the motor oil for you at the hazardous waste event. There are also some of the shops that do auto repairs and all. Some of them will accept the motor oil. You just have to reach out and make sure that they're a facility that will receive and accept. So save that motor oil, put it aside. Do not throw it in your recycling. Please do not throw it in your recycling. We've had occasion where people have done that. It's really makes contaminates our recycles, contaminates the truck. So please don't do that. Wait till the hazardous waste weekend or find a local repair garage that accepts it.
All right. We have our next letter from Regina George, who happens to be a resident of Penn Valley now, in case anyone was wondering. The question is, it looks like township staff and the engineers handle all of the public works stuff. So what exactly does the Public Works Committee do?
Yeah, so I had a note card for this one. I don't have anything really on it. But so the Public Works, it's really this township staff and the engineers who really do everything. I mean, the Public Works is the infrastructure for the township, and so what the Public Works Committee does, and then I'm the commissioner who chairs that, but there's two other commissioners there. We act as really like a liaison. So for issues, so if the residents are concerned, they can come to us, and then we coordinate with township staff. I'll also chair the public meetings when we have a Public Works Committee, and we handle the Public Works agenda. But the legwork for all that comes from, again, township staff and the engineer bringing up the issues, and then we then vote on them to decide what we want to do with it. But the Public Works Committee, it's really Public Works township staff and the engineers that do all of the heavy lifting in the township, and then we're just there to really be a liaison with the public. And let's not forget Public Works Pipeline. I mean, this is, I think, the greatest show on Lower Merion television. I know
agree.
Some people beside the gavel may feel differently, but you get this show, so it doesn't get any better than this.
As someone who's done both, behind the gavel and the Public Works Pipeline, I'm kind of favoring the pipeline myself, I will just say. I may be biased.
No,
but
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's it's behind the gavel that gets little softball questions and everything. We really get to the issues here, and like I tell people, we do all of our own stunts. So any fights you see on this show are
Real.
not staged. Yeah.
No, they hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
They truly do.
Another letter from someone in my family, Chance the dog. He asks, well, what is Lower Merion's street sweeping program?
Our street sweeping program. So we have a contract. Our contract requires that our street sweeper firm, they come through the township 3 times a year. We do a spring, a summer, and a fall cleanup. We don't give specific dates. We are weather driven. We look to see what the winter was, when the winter stops, to plan our spring cleanup, because you've got rock salt, you've got that type of stuff. So we work with that contractor to decide when their spring cleanup will be, and then we look at what our summer's looking like storm wise, and then we try to clean up in the fall. Now, understanding our fall cleanup is not for leaf pickup. It's not for us to get the leaves picked up. It's for us to clean the roads, to get the dirt and grime and any of those type of things. So please do not drag your leaves into the street. What it does is it adds to our pickup and clogs up the street sweepers. But what it also does is those leaves, if we have a large storm, become a safety hazard. Cars try to stop on them, and they become slippery. That, or they start to clog up storm inlets, and then we get localized flooding. It becomes a multitude of problems. So please, leaves stay in the yard. If you want to dispose of your leaves, they go in those brown bags that we mentioned earlier in the conversation. But we do it 3 times a year. If we run into an issue, we do own our own street sweeper. If there's a localized issue, contractor went down the street and dumped a load of soil in the street, we'll clean it up, we'll sweep it, those type of things. We use it during our construction when we're paving roads and doing those type of things, but we also do use it for localized cleaning when needed.
All right. Our next letter is from Shaggy and Scooby. When will the township start hosting ghost tours at the Belmont Hills Community Center?
So the Belmont Hills Community Center was, I'd say, like in the 1980s, 90s, really widely used. There were 2 floors there. The second floor you could go up and I think play pool, and there were video games and things. And unfortunately, over time, it's really the use is just on the first floor, because the second floor has been determined to be non-ADA compliant right now. So we're trying to see what can be done with the building. I know the Civic Association's interested in using it a little bit, but it's a township building that's managed by Public Works, and the Facilities Division of Public Works manages those buildings. So I don't know if
Well, let me elaborate a little bit. We manage the building in the sense of we maintain. Parks and Rec, if you need a permit and want to use the facility, you reach out to Parks and Rec. They kind of manage the uses within the building. So, as you mentioned, in the 80s it was used. I was a child at that time, played many games of Miss Pac-Man there, spent my college money there, I think. But no, and it has fallen off. There was a men's Over the Hill club they had that had utilized it to play pool. That has waned off. So yes, the second floor has become kind of isolated. As to the ADA, when I was commissioner, we looked into it. There are some challenges because of the way the building's situated with the topography around it and trying to get the slopes and stuff like that and access to the second floor. It will be a lengthy, it's not a simple project, let's just say. So there'll be a lot of consideration by the commissioners as to the expenditures and so forth.
Yeah, it's understood to reactivate that second floor is not unfortunately it's not a simple little task. So.
All right, and I think this is going to be our last letter. It's from Anonymous. I live in a pineapple under the sea, and I am curious as to how Public Works operates with utility companies.
Well, that's a very broad question. We deal with the utilities on a daily basis, from the road closures to the permitting and those type of things. And then we work with them both, like, for, Pico and Aqua, where are you going to be? What's your planning for the next 2 years, 3 years? We have numerous meetings throughout the year for those coordinations. It's a daily conversations with them to try to keep their inconvenience to the public as short as possible, but with their demands on their aging infrastructure, right now there's a lot they're required to do. So we're in that generation of renewal. So we're gonna have those pains for a little bit.
All right, well, that wraps it up for another episode of the Public Works Pipeline. Thanks for stopping by.